All right, there's the man right there, live in Phoenix, the sheriff of Maricopa County, Arizona. Sheriff Arpaio, thanks so much, sir, for taking time to talk to us.
Nice talking to you again, Rick.
The feds took your ICE power to investigate and detain people that you think are illegal. You say that's not going to slow you down.
No, it's not.
What are you going to do?
Keep doing it. I have the state laws to enforce, even the federal law, and we're going to keep doing our job.
But as I understand it, they and I didn't mean to interrupt. I didn't know you were going to be saying something else there, sir. They gave you permission. This was a couple of years ago, right? You and several other jurisdictions around the country, they all but federally deputized your sheriff's deputies so that they could go out and make arrests, and now they're rescinding that. They're taking that away. Doesn't that mean that you shouldn't be doing it?
No, that was just a contract agreement we signed with them. We don't really need that. We did hold up, 32,000 illegals in the jail and on street enforcement. 25% of the whole country we did under that agreement, but they don't want us anymore. That's okay. I'm still going to enforce the human smuggling, the employer sanction.
But one of the reasons they don't want you to do it anymore is because there is a suspicion that you have been abusing the civil rights of people. Well, by trying to arrest people who actually maybe not even illegal immigrants, but maybe to you or your deputies look like illegal immigrants.
Well, let me tell you something. They just did an audit several months ago. We came out A+ in that audit.
Who did the audit?
Homeland Security did it.
Yeah.
But they would not give it out. They would not give me a copy because it makes me look good. The only complaint to the FBI was one person, and that was the mayor of Phoenix.
Well, how do you know? Let me ask you a question. How do you know when you arrest someone that they're illegal?
Well, first of all, Rick, we do it pursuant to our duties. When we come across someone on another crime and we find out that they are illegal, we take action. If those that have not committed a crime, we had the training, we still do, we turn them over to ICE.
Well, but wait a minute. But you just said you detain people who haven't committed a crime. How do you prove that they're not illegal?
It has to do with their conduct, what type of clothes they're wearing, their speech. They admit it. They may have phony ID. A lot of variables involved.
You judge people and arrest them based on their speech and the clothes that they're wearing, sir?
No, when they're in a vehicle with someone that has committed a crime, we have the right to talk to those people. When they admit they are here illegally, we take action.
But you just told me, let's go back here. You just told me that you arrest a people and turn them over to the feds even if they haven't committed a crime.
No, they did commit a crime. They are here illegally.
But how did you know they were here illegally? And then you went on to tell me it's because of the clothes they wore.
Well, you look at the federal law. The federal law specifies it's the speech, the clothes, the environment, the erratic behavior. It's right in the law.
Well, let me ask you a question then. What happens if you detain someone who you think their speech is erratic or their behavior is erratic or their clothes is erratic, and it turns out they just didn't have the ID with them, but they're perfectly legal, and you've just taken them in to some federal detention center, and they were able to get out? I'm sure that's happened.
No, we don't take them in. We have computers. We do preliminary checks on the streets. We do talk to ICE, and they say go ahead and bring them in. We don't bring them in until we call ICE, and they authorize bringing them in.
But you've detained nonetheless, and pardon me for staying on this, you've nonetheless potentially detained a perfectly legal American citizen or resident of the United States who you should have left alone.
We never, no. Who said that?
You just did. You said
no, I didn't say
you said
legal.
You sometimes detain people who are legal.
No, I said illegal.
Okay, you detain people who are illegal. How do you know they're illegal other than their clothes and their ratty behavior or their speech pattern?
Because we have the expertise. Our deputy's been trained for 5 months by ICE. Knowledge on how to interrogate, how to talk to these people.
And what if they say, I don't have identification with me? I would just, you know, I was jogging or something. Do you take them in under suspicion?
You're supposed to have identification or driver's license.
When you jog?
When you drive?
No, when you jog, when you're on the street, for example? Not if you're not driving.
We don't pick them up on the streets. I'm saying pursuant to our duties, enforcing the criminal laws, we come across them, then we take action. We
So
don't
you're
go on a street corner
well. Then you're
and
taking,
grab them.
but then you're charging them with driving without a license. So that makes sense to me.
But if they're illegal, we also hold them in the jail, 32,000, so they can't get back on the street and commit other crimes. We do have a crime problem in Maricopa County.
What, you're not saying that the crime problem is more related to immigrants than it is others, are you? Or are you?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, 20% of people in jail today for all different types of crime, murders and everything else, are illegal.
So Hondurans and Mexicans are more apt to commit crimes in the United States than other people?
I don't know. I mean, that's something that you have to determine. I just said 20%. But what difference does it make? We lock everybody up.
Well, it makes a lot of difference, Sheriff, and I'll tell you why. When I was in your state several times investigating the situation down there and the tensions between people with the immigration problem, the constant complaint I got about you from people who are of Mexican-American descent but are American citizens was that, this is what they said to me, sir, so take it as you can, as you will. They said they believe that you hate Mexicans.
Oh,
they believe that you are essentially bigoted toward their culture and them. Look, I'm telling you what they told me, and I'm not talking about one or two people. I'm talking about in mass. So let me give you the opportunity to respond to that.
Well, first of all, I was the regional director of Mexico for 4 years, head of the federal drug enforcement in Texas and Arizona. I'm not going to get into my personal situation for security reasons, but that's ridiculous. That's all they can do is bring up the race card just because I'm doing my job. Where are all the allegations? Where are all the allegations if I'm doing this wrong? A few people have complained. Out of all the arrests, 33,000. So you get 3 or 4 complaints. The Justice Department, first 60 days in the Obama administration, have gone after me. I'm not going to say they lie, the investigators, but I'll say misinformation, Homeland Security, misinformation. So I can go on and on.
Why do you think it's so important to detain, arrest people in the United States who may be here undocumented? Why is that? Why do you seem to be obsessed with that?
I'm not obsessed with it. We locked up 1,600 illegal aliens on Class 4 felonies. The human smuggling law. We raid businesses, and we go in there, and 2/3 are illegals with phony identification. So we always come across other crimes too.
What, you know, it almost seems to me like an American who would like his borders to be secure, like you, that people like you are putting a lot of the emphasis on the illegal immigrant, when in actuality, it seems like our government and the businesses in this government are all through a wink and a nod, all but recruiting these people into the country, giving them tax IDs so they can work in this country, and then when people like you find them, they're treated like the most horrible criminals in the world, when in fact many of them are doing nothing more. Now stay with me here for a minute. When in fact many of them are doing nothing more than trying to earn their keep and trying to earn a living for their country. Now, aside from the fact that they may be here illegally, do you feel sometimes like you're taking on the most needy, the most desperate, a real easy mark?
No.
Why?
No, because I don't just enforce the law on illegal immigration. We do everything. This just has to be one program that the legislature gave me $1.6 million to enforce that law. And I'm doing it. I'm utilizing the money from the state to do the job, and we are doing a great job, Rick.
All right, Sheriff Arpaio. You know what I respect most about you is that every time I call you and ask you to come on because there's another story having to do with you, and obviously whenever you and I talk, I always ask you some, it's always a very confrontational, if not aggressive interview.
No.
You're always there, and you always answer the questions, and that takes, I suppose, a certain amount of courage, and I respect you for that.
No, call me every hour, on the hour.
Thanks. I appreciate that, Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
Thanks.